Some time ago I had a blast, and I mean an absolute blast, playing Hornet Leader, which is a solitaire game of modern air combat published by DVG in 2010, and to me this is one of the best war games of 2010, if not the best one. So I was very curious to explore the series more and see if I could find other games that would give me the same high, and I try Phantom Leader. Same series, as you can see, similar name, similar design. The first thing that you'll notice when you buy the game is that it's cheaper than Hornet Leader. Then when you receive the box, you will also see that it's thinner than Hornet Leader, so it kind of makes sense. So today we're gonna talk about Phantom Leader, and I'm gonna try to help you make a decision in case you're wondering if you should buy one, which one, or both, or none. Well, I'm not gonna advocate that you buy none, that's for sure. First, let's have a look at the components. Not at every component, just the main ones. Of course, you have counters for your airplanes and the weapons you're carrying, and different types of counters to keep track of things. If you're familiar with Hornet Leader carrier air operations, then you will just realize that here there are less counters, not different types of counters, just a lower number. You have a rulebook, very nice looking, very clear, a lot of examples, glossy papers. I really like the rulebooks by DVG, and this one is no exception. You have a tactical display, extremely important because this is where the battle will take place, and another display where you can put your card decks and you have a summary of the sequence of play. Very functional, printed on cardboard. You have 6 campaign scenarios, 3 to be played with the US Air Force and 3 to be played with the Navy. Again, printed on cardboard, extremely functional, if not, the most durable, if not really deluxe quality of components. A deck of target cards with the targets that you will try to destroy during your missions. Event cards, you will draw them at different times during your missions, and they have different effects that apply according to when you're flipping them, and just a little bit of unpredictability, a little bit of adventure. Of course, most important, you have the decks with the airplanes that you'll be flying, and you have a deck for the US Air Force and one for the Navy. As you can see, there are several types of airplane that you can fly in each of these decks, and each card has 2 levels of experience for the same pilot. So pilots can start at 1 level of experience, and then they can be, so this guy for example is a newbie, and then can be promoted. This guy can become a green, this guy is skilled, can become a veteran. Again, if you're familiar with Hornet Leader carrier operations, the basic idea is that it's more or less the same components. You certainly have recognized everything because the game is very similar. It's just a difference in the quality of the components. For example, here you have the display, which is on cardboard. In the other game is a mounted display. And also the number of components, less counters, less cards. First thing, you will choose one of the campaign scenarios, which will determine the type of airplanes that you will fly. Then you will choose the length of the scenario that you want to play. It can be short, medium, or long. And according to how long the campaign is, you have a different number of days that you're flying, which means different number of targets, different number of special option points that you can spend to buy several good things, different evaluation scale. Of course, the longer the campaign, the more points you need to have an even decent performance, and also the number and type of pilots that you will receive changes according to that. Then, as you can see, there are certain numbers there, and those numbers indicate the targets that are available for that campaign. So you will choose the target cards indicated by those numbers, and you will create the deck for that specific campaign. Also, as you can see, different targets located in different parts of the map have different values in terms of the weight penalty and in terms of stress. In fact, certain targets are assumed to be far from your bases, and that means that it takes longer to fly there, you have to carry more fuel, and because of that, you will have less weapons that you can carry with you. So different areas will have different penalties about that. Each target has a number indicating how many airplanes you can send against it. Then you will choose the airplanes that you decide that you want to use for that mission, and the pilots. And different pilots and airplanes will give you different stats. For example, certain pilots are better handling stress. This pilot can go up to 5 points of stress before he becomes shaken. This guy is much better, can go up to 7 before he becomes shaken, and the other factors change. Some pilots are fast, some are slow, some are good at air-to-air combat, but not so much are air-to-ground combat. Some are excellent at air-to-ground combat. They don't even have a factor for air-to-air. So there's just so many different factors. You really have to strategize there according to the type of target and what you think is going to happen there. Then you have to select a good group of pilots and airplanes to send against it. After you do that, you will take into account the weight that the airplane can carry, which is this number here, and then you will choose the weapons that you want to load on that airplane. Weapons or defensive mechanisms such as the ECM pod. As you can see, there is a number here in the upper left corner, which is the weight of each of these weapons or defensive mechanisms, and you can equip them up to the number written there minus the weight penalty if it's a target which is far from your base. And you have a lot of different weapons that you can use. It's real fun. It's really interesting, all the strategies that you can create, taking into account the different range, which is this black number, if they can be used at high altitude, low altitude, what is the number to hit, different weapons that are better at certain targets. And there is this basic mechanism. When you are attacking, you select the weapon and you literally use that weapon, so you have to remove the counter. Then you roll a die, you apply the modifiers according if it's an air-to-air attack or air-to-ground. So you have the number, once modify, you need to roll the number in the upper right corner. If you get the number or more, then you have a hit, otherwise nothing, you just wasted that weapon. After you draw an event card to see what happens on your way to the target and another event card to see what happens on the target, the battle on the tactical display starts. You will place your airplanes in the external area of the tactical display. Each target will tell you how many enemy sites are to be found around the target or in the same area of the target, and how many enemy airplanes are there. The airplanes are those with the yellow stripes. However, you will draw these enemy cheats from a cup, so each time you will have a different combination of enemies, and there's a little bit of unpredictability. Fog of War, you don't know exactly what you're gonna get. In each turn, the standard procedure is that first your airplanes, the fast airplanes, will attack according to their altitude, the weapons that they have available, and how many you decide to spend. Then all of the enemies will attack. Then your slow pilots will attack. Then your pilots will have a chance of moving to an adjacent area. And then the enemy airplanes that are not in range, so they could not attack you because they were too far, will move towards you. For example, this airplane here has no range, needs to be in the same area as your airplane to attack, so it'll probably move to one of these, and next turn you will try to attack. And that is the basic turn. You have 4 turns that you can spend on the target. If by the 4th turn you're still flying around and you haven't been able to inflict a certain number of hits on the target, then you have to leave and the mission was not completed. So it is less turns than in Hornet Leader Carrier Air Operations, because there you have 5, but also the map is smaller. There you have an extra area around the tactical display. Different targets will have a different number and a different combination of types of defenses, which will force you to create different strategies to approach targets differently and will give you a different experience for each of them. For example, you can have a target such as the one you see here, the rail yard, which is defended by just a simply terrifying number of enemies. Or it could be a minor airfield, which still has a good number of enemies defending it, but what is much worse, has a special rule that will generate a new enemy airplane at the beginning of each turn from the central area. It is an airfield after all. Or you can have a search and rescue mission where your job is to destroy 8 units of enemy infantry, which is not a dangerous task to complete, it is just hard to accomplish it in the limited amount of time that you have. Simply put, Phantom Leader is an excellent game. There are so many things that you can do, so many options, pilots, airplanes, missions, weapons, targets, just so many things you can do with the components in this box. You can have many different games. Each game is a lot of fun. There is a great balance between the strategic aspect of a campaign, where you have to decide how you distribute your forces throughout the campaign, and on the other hand, a very interesting tactical aspect. Those battles are furious, or faster, engaging, nail-biting. A lot of tough decisions that you have to do during the fight according to what's happening, and developing situations. They're just so exciting. Really get the sense of this brutal, unforgiving fight that is going on. Fantastic. However, this game, remember, is very similar to its bigger brother, which is Hornet Leader, so I believe that a comparison between the two is in order. From the point of view of the components, Phantom Leader is inferior to Hornet Leader, really, under any angle. You just have less components, and the quality of the components is either the same or lower. So that, again, is not the greatest thing, but it's not such a big thing either, because it really feels like this is the basic game, and the other game, Hornet Leader, is the deluxe expanded version. And again, having a deluxe version never made the basic game worse per se. On the other hand, also, Phantom Leader is much more affordable, so that's a big plus. From the point of view of gameplay, the biggest advantage is the Phantom Leader gives you the same awesome experience as Hornet Leader, emphasis on awesome. Biggest disadvantage is the Phantom Leader gives you the same awesome experience as Hornet Leader, emphasis on same. Because there are some minor differences here and there, smaller tactical display, faster battles, other little things here and there, but it really feels like it is the same game played with different airplanes and on different maps and different missions. So, bottom line, if you don't have any of the two games, then Phantom Leader is more affordable. It may be a good way for you to try the system. Then if you like it, you might decide to upgrade to the big box of Hornet Leader. However, you can just decide you want to start grandiose and you go for the big box to start with. If you already have Hornet Leader, why would you want to buy Phantom Leader? Well, for the same reason why you bought Dominion Intrigue and Thunderstone Dragon Spire, which is many times people want expansions that give them exactly more of the same. More options to play a system that they really like, and with minor differences, so that actually they do get the sense they are playing something that is new enough, so they're not bored by it, but they're still finding the same type of joy that they had from the original game. What if you have both games? Well, then I have a very simple suggestion. Buy more copies. Buy as many copies as you can and give them to your friends, because these are two excellent games, some of the best solitaire war games that you will find around. So give them to your friends, they'll love you forever, and you will also have done a great and good things for the wargaming community.